Hello everybody, a slightly excited Captain VFC here because today we have something special. At least I consider it something special. From a very early age I've been slightly obsessed with the Douglas SBD Dauntless, as demonstrated here by the venerable 1967 tooled Airfix kit. And it was through making kits like this that I got most of my fondness for certain aircraft, this being no exception. This is the most recent release of it, which is a tool that has been around, as I say, since 1967. It has been released many times, the last one being in this form in 2012. But like many older Airfix kits, whilst it is a representation of the Dauntless, it's far from a highly detailed model, and certainly by today's standards is a little bit crude. I did spend a fair bit of time on this one though, drilling holes in the dive brakes, but that doesn't really cover up the fact that it is quite old. Fast forward to 1995 and we have the Hasegawa version of the Douglas SBD Dauntless. Once again, solid dive brakes which I have drilled lots and lots of holes in, and whilst this kit is certainly a lot better and just a more accurate and detailed representation of the Dauntless in this scale, it still suffers from a few issues. It's a little bit basic in places, and it's also really hard to get hold of. Thankfully, it has been released by Hobby 2000, or reboxed by Hobby 2000 in 2019, and I did manage to pick up a few in that release, which is actually what this one is. And I have managed to pick up second-hand an unmade Hasegawa SBD-3, as well as having another Hobby 2000 one in the stash ready to go. But as I say, whilst considerably better than the old Airfix kit, it still leaves a little bit to be desired in the SBD front. So you can imagine my excitement when in 2021, Flyhawk answer all of my prayers. And no, I have not adjusted my camera at all. This box is just notably bigger than the Hasegawa one, and about 3 times the size of the old Airfix one. I wonder what they've hidden in here, because it's supposed to be a single SBD. As you can see on ScaleMates, this kit has only been released the once, the SBD-3 2021, but then they've done new parts to make the earlier SBD-2 in 2022, which is also listed as an Upgrade Edition. See, on the box there, Upgrade Edition. Well, we'll have to see what that includes, won't we? Because obviously, I bought that one as well. And so for this video, we're going to take a look inside the Flyhawk SBD-3 Dauntless, and also have a little look inside the SBD-2 Upgrade Edition, and see what differences there are, and see if I had every right to be as excited as I am. Eagle-eyed amongst you may of course notice that this year is not 2021, and if I was that excited, why didn't I buy this 3 years ago? Well, this kit is not readily available in the UK, so if you're like me and you're in the United Kingdom, you may not recognise Flyhawk because they don't appear that much, and you may never have seen this kit or not even know that it's available. So this one came from China and it has just arrived. It is in reasonable condition. There's a bit of a dent in the box there. I'm not going to mark Flyhawk down for that. That is obviously the way that it was packaged. And we're going to talk about pricing and how it compares with the Hasegawa one once we've had a little look inside. And a quick note to say that I was able to purchase these kits with the funds from channel members. So thank you very much, channel members. This was actually a birthday present to myself. At the time you're watching this, no, it's not my birthday, but I ordered these from China. And it took them a little while to arrive, so you missed it. But hey, happy birthday to me. I now have 2 Dauntlesses. Edit. 2 more Dauntlesses. If you're interested and able to support, then by all means, please join the channel members, but just watching the video, giving it a thumbs up, hitting the notification bell, subscribing if you don't already, all the usual stuff, that helps the channel more than anything. So thank you very much, and let's get on and see what we've got inside. So yes, the first thing to comment on really is the size of the box. It is a little bit longer than my 30cm 12-inch ruler, and is a good 9 inches or 23 centimetres high as well. So it is a fairly substantial box for a fairly small aircraft. That's just an observation. As long as it's secure in there, there's absolutely no problem with that. Just, like I say, an observation. And definitely bigger than I was expecting, but it does mean that this artwork, this beautiful painting of an SBD-3, very smart. We've got some aircraft having a bit of an issue in the corner. as well as the Flyhawk brand, and the yellow band around it has been made to look very weathered and tatty, which I think gives a very pleasing effect. And of course, zoom out a little bit, you can see SBD-3 Dauntless and what I assume is SBD-3 Dauntless and SBD-3 Dauntless in various foreignese unassembled model kit. That there is the product code FH6001, and in case you're interested, yes, the SBD2 is 6002, and confirming the scale and that it is a ridiculously large box for 1/72 and not a small box for 1/48. There's the scale down there. The shop edge just reveals more of the same. There's the big Flyhawk logo, and the other side is exactly the same as well. We have this long edge. Again, no real extra information, although there are some QR codes. I think I will have to search those and see what they come up with, just for the sake of science. And here we have a warning, contains small parts. The children under 6 years old cannot use it. 2. The real product is little bit different from the one on the box. 3. The product is not a toy, only suitable for people over 14 years old. As I've said, they're a Chinese company. That's obviously just a translation thing, but I do find it a little bit funny. And here it gives you the main material, the copyright date of 2021. Doesn't give you a tooling date, but copyright date is at least helpful. And there is their address, should you wish to pop in and ask them to build you a model. We also then have the Made in China Flyhawk models, the address again, presumably. Yep, the address again. The website, very, very small. We've got an email address there as well, but yeah, very, very small. And of course, this lovely little logo confirming that the children under 6 years old cannot use it. And it is a top opening box, meaning the back is completely blank and white. Right, I'm literally on the edge of my seat here, so I just need to get this lid off and see what we've got. Right, so I'm going to take it out one by one and then we'll look at it in the usual order. So this, I assume, is the instruction booklet. This is a separately wrapped sprue. A sprue that's not separately wrapped but is in a zip seal bag. Another separately wrapped sprue. Another separately wrapped sprue. And another, and another, and one for clear parts as well. So if you're looking for a company that cuts back on unnecessary packaging, make sure you don't look for Flyhawk. And then at the bottom we have another zip seal bag, which is for the decal sheet. We'll look at that shortly. And then a couple of bits of something. I'm trying to find the English, and there isn't any. Is there any on that side? Yes. Important information about your product, so that just looks like the usual stuff. Keep glue and paint from fire. Yeah, don't set fire to your model, don't flush it down the toilet or stick it anywhere it shouldn't be stuck. And now we've also got another age limit. It says, please guarantee to keep children below 36 months from this product. So they recommend that you're above the age of 14, definitely not below 6, and should be kept well away from children below 36 months. And we have this. No English on it. It's blank on the back. If you know what this is, by all means, let me know in the comments, because I have no idea. So we're going to move that to one side and start on the instructions. Okay, so they're an odd shape, firstly. They don't open as a booklet. You can see that they open up as a long, thin thing. I assume this is the top because we've got a copy of the box artwork, and it tells you who the painter was, who did a very good job, by the way. I think it's a very striking image. We have a sprue map. Yes, very, very nice. That's what we want to see. This down here would indicate, is that a paint mask? Because the clear parts are here. Clear parts are there. So that must be a paint mask. It says there, painting. There you go, painting mask 1. Didn't see that with the kit, but I've just checked. We'll see that very shortly. Read before assembling. Yes, lovely. Glue and paint are not included. Good. Glue, paint, and other tools are not allowed to be reached by children. Good. Make sure they're kept high up. The suite may contain metal parts. Please be careful while working. Excellent. I'm making fun of it, but it's actually not the worst translation I've seen. and your usual guides and whatever. As I say, I've never actually seen a Flyhawk kit before, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect. And what I'm greeted with are really good quality, multicoloured instructions. Look at that. And also, look at the interior detail. This thing makes the Hasegawa one look like a turd. So yeah, there we go. Look, we've got assembling all of the various interior components first, gluing the fuselage together, and then it says page 1. And then we're going to presumably have to flip to the back. Oh, this is a bit ungainly. Stick the rest of the plane together. I do note there it shows the option of an open canopy. That is fantastic. It also shows a single gun. No, it doesn't. It shows a double gun. Yep, tell a lie. I thought it showed a single, but it didn't. That's a double. Assemble the rest of the plane. Then we've got the undercarriage, some weaponry, and the separate dive brakes. And that's one of the things that attracted me to this kit when I saw that it existed, is that it has separate dive brakes with holes, because I do not want to have to replace it with etched parts, which is what I was going to do with the Hasegawa ones, or drill out all the holes, because they're not actually symmetrical top and bottom, so you don't really want to drill them out anyway. We'll get round to that when we build it. We then have painting and marking guide. Look at this helpful painting and marking guide. Decal application. Cut the pictures from sheet as needed. Dip the pictures in warm water for about 10 seconds. I've never actually seen them referred to as pictures before, but obviously it's translated from Chinese, so interesting. Move the picture to the proper position. Yes, very nice. Yes, I like it. Amusing. Bit of entertainment. I can still follow it. I mean, I know how to decal a kit anyway, but still. Here we have the main colours. You get your flat white, your grey blue, your light grey, your flat red, your brown, your aircraft internal colour. They didn't even bother calling it interior green, just aircraft internal colour. And then flat black and steel. It gives you the Mr. Hobby and Tamiya call-outs. I'm guessing that's what they are as well, but as I've said before, I can only really read English. And here is the guide for the markings as well. Please select the decal with the corresponding number according to your needs. So it's telling you if you want to do any of those squadrons, they're the ones you have to use. And that is one thing you may have noticed when I got the decal sheet out, which we're going to look at next, in that it mostly just gives you registration codes and serial numbers and things like that. But the painting instructions for the interior are the very last step, obviously. And that's the main aircraft, giving you the general gist of where to stick things, and it tells you which of the options to go for. It's a little bit cluttered. I'm going to say that this is maybe not the best kit for a true beginner, just based on these instructions, but we'll see what it's like when we actually build it. And finally, down here, worth noting, dear customer, thank you very much for choosing Flyhawk model. If you have any question or need help, please contact the purchase location or our official customer service. We will serve you as soon as possible. Well, isn't that lovely? Right, decal sheet next. As they're in a resealable bag, I'll be able to put them away nicely. And inside the bag, we also have a paint mask. Look at that. This product is not a toy, only suitable for people over 14 years old. Yeah, well, there we go. Not bad, including that. This isn't even the Upgrade Edition. That's just a standard feature, apparently. So, the decals. We have 6 insignia. They feel very thin, and they look beautiful. Absolutely spot on. Very, very nice. Then we have the walkways for the wings. And then we just have a sheet of numbers. So you can number your aircraft to your heart's content. I wish I had this before making that Hasegawa one that I showed at the beginning of the video. This would have made life much easier. I was borrowing those from a fairly mediocre set. Obviously, I don't know the quality of these yet, but just having this many options, it's fantastic. And these will fill my spares box for years. Or I could just buy 18 Dauntlesses. Look. And in case you're wondering why there's 18, it's because there were 18 in a squadron. Anyway, GC, you can't quite see the white there. No, I'm trying to get the light on it, but it's not working. But there are some white stripes as well, which are markings for the tail. It says step. We've got no step. don't know if you can pick up what that writing is. I can't quite see it. I'll have to see if the footage can pick it up, but it's very, very small. That one says gun camera conduit, exposure latch, enclosure latch. It's some sort of latch anyway. Most of it is legible. That's the important thing. And yeah, fairly sizable sheet, loads of options, quality looks good. So far, this is looking to be well worth the wait. As I usually do, I'm going to keep the clear parts sealed in their bag so that they don't get scratched or anything. Whilst I was very keen to open this as soon as it arrived, I don't have the capacity to start building it just yet. So these are going to stay in the bag, but we can at least have a little nose through, see if there's any blemishes standing out. And no, in fact, what I do notice is the complete opposite. And I don't know if the camera can pick this up very well, but the canopy pieces even have little rivet details. They look absolutely flawlessly clear, and they have rivets. And yes, an option for open or closed. And for the rest of the plastic, we're going to have to make a big mess and cut open all of these bags. To slightly defend Flyhawk here, it is generally better to separately wrap things to avoid plastic rubbing against plastic and knocking bits off. Is it really necessary? No. Why did they use one zip seal bag and the rest were just shrink wrapped? No idea. Not very consistent. But either way, this is what you get inside. I'm going to start with the very front of the aircraft, the cowling, because it was a loose piece and I want to put it back in the box sooner rather than later. It seems to say F10281 on it. I know not why. But you can see here the sheer level of detail that this thing has. Tiny little rivet holes. Beautiful, smooth gun cutouts. Absolutely magnificent. And obviously it makes sense for them to have the cowling as a separate part, as that is one of the key identifiers of an SBD 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Next we move on to sprue I assume, which are the wings, and we have part, I'm guessing it's part 1. There it is, part 1. Part 1, show me part 1. There we go, part 1. We have the lower wing surfaces, obviously with the cutout for the flaps. We have the recess for the bomb and the wheel wells. And then down here we have the top surfaces of the wings, equally as beautifully detailed. Something interesting, at least I find it interesting, your mileage may vary, is that the rivet detail is actually raised. Very, very fine, but it is all raised. Not sure you can necessarily tell from there. Obviously not great for people that like using a wash to get in those little holes, but or for people sanding down. But if you don't need to massively sand, it does look better. Honestly, it's so fine. I'm not even sure you're going to appreciate that at the end. And nothing inside either of these parts. And then logically we move to sprue C, probably. These are small parts such as the rear machine guns, and they look like legs, or opening doors, not legs, doors for something maybe, not entirely sure. And some incredibly small parts here, all of them phenomenally well moulded. No flash, which is good because this has only been moulded once to the best of my knowledge, but absolutely flawless. Look at that. Sprue J features the dive brakes and a propeller blade. There we go. 2021 Flyhawk, in case the box didn't make it clear enough. There's the inside of the dive brakes, and I finally found the tiniest bit of flash, just this tiny overlap on one side. Honestly, this looks incredible. Oh, I have just noticed actually, that said, the propeller blade is slightly distorted. You can't necessarily see that clearly, but that is very, very thin, and it's bent back a little bit. It shouldn't be too hard to fix, but something that I've noticed, therefore worth reporting. Sprue B is more of the same. We have 3 more sections of brakes. all with these fantastic holes modelled. Yeah, incredible. Again, the rivet detail as well. On the outside, raised but tiny. Incredible. This is sprue A. I picked it up and the little tag that says sprue A fell off in my hand, but it's sprue A. And for this we have the bomb swing mechanism, we have the sort of bulkhead between the engine and the fuselage, we have the fuselage itself. My goodness. All of it covered in these very fine raised rivets. I know some of you are going to hate that and moan that there are raised rivets, and I don't care because I'm the one building it. Haha. Horizontal surfaces, bomb, wheels. Oh, look at the wheels. The detail on those. I believe the 100-pound bombs that go under the wing, and the engine. Blimey. On the flip side, we do have a little bit of excess plastic for the horizontal surfaces, and that's the interior detail. There's not much there, there's just some basic framework, but there are bits to stick in, of course, so shouldn't be a problem. Speaking of which, we have the interior parts here, so the floor, I've just noticed that. Blimey. I'm going to keep saying blimey and core and other British things for how bloody good does this look. Look at the instrument panels. Look at all those controls. I know some people would rather sand this down and put etched stuff on it, but Flyhawk seem to be appealing to those like myself who don't want to spend any more money on a model. I'm very intrigued to see how this is going to look when done. Yeah, so far, my jaw is firmly dropped, and I think I'm in love. Right, so quickly moving on to the SBD-2. I'm expecting most of it to be the same, so I'm not going to go over every piece again. I just want to really identify the differences. The main difference, which is not something you can see, but I can definitely feel, is that this is heavier. The box is notably heavier. So intrigued to see what they've put in there. The key difference on the front, of course, is the artwork and the fact that it says Upgrade Edition here. And then we have this artwork of an SBD-2, again with a Japanese carrier having a bad day. Some smoke, the same general pattern. Everything else is the same. Again, 3 QR codes. So yeah, no other changes there. Whoa, okay, straight away. We have a difference. This is a poster. They have a poster of the artwork. That is too big for me to fit in shot. I'm going to have to take a picture of this and add that into the video to show you what that is. Right, then we have the instructions. One zip seal bag with the fuselage, looks exactly the same. Another zip seal bag with the wings. The exact same interior sprue, the same 2 small sprues with the dive brakes, and this one has the same small sprue of parts as the SBD-3, but, as predicted, it has a separate, different engine cowling, which obviously reflects the SBD-2, and it is stamped with 0281. You're going to have to look back at the video to see what the previous one said, because I can't remember a thing. Right, you may already see a difference. That is, in here, we have some wheels. We have sagged wheels. Look at that. In their own little box. And then inside their own little plastic bags, which I can't actually remove from the box. There we go. We have even more wheels. Look at that. Oh dear, when you find out how much extra this cost, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. We also have, and I don't entirely know why, what appear to be post-it notes. 2 QR codes on the back. There's a little boat down there. Little boaty boat. and it just appears to be a load of post-it notes. Okay. And then decal sheet with paint mask. I admit I don't know what the extra parts 8 and 9 are for. Oh, no, maybe they are for the stripes on the tail, I assume, if you want to paint them. They're probably the same diameter, right, or width. Yeah, they are. So if you want to paint the markings on the tail, you can. There we go, very, very handy. You may also notice that these decals are not just a big list of numbers, but they are more indicative of individual aircraft. And that one says Commander Enterprise Group. Again, they look very, very nice. They don't stand out on the film too much. You've also got interior decals for this one, which, given the level of raised detail, seems a bit unnecessary, but there we go. And once again, we have the warning sheet, yes, and also a small revision. Look at that. We apologise for any inconvenience caused by our oversight. You have to cut off a tab. There we go. Nice to include. So last thing I want to go over are the instructions. Obviously they're going to be more or less the same as the previous one, as I dropped them all over the floor. However, I just wanted to double check. Yes, this has the single gun mount, which is of course correct for the earlier SBD-2. Still in lots of bright colour, but the reason why I wanted to go over it is because I noticed that there is actually a second page. So the back of the first page, rather than having a small insert for interior detail, actually has a lot on interior detail and painting a red bit on there on the handles, for example. So already appreciated. This extra edition does have more to the instructions, which means the actual aircraft painting instructions are moved onto their own sheet. And we have a more traditional option 1, Commander's aircraft of USS Enterprise Air Group in Pearl Harbor 1941. Scheme 2, VB-2 Bomber Squadron of Lexington at Coral Sea, May 1942. And Scheme 3, the one on the box, VS-5 Scout Squadron from USS Yorktown, Battle of the Coral Sea, 1942. And then instructions on the painting masks, which indeed confirm, yes, they are for the stripes, if you want stripy tails without using the decals, and the same thank you that we had before. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, these are not readily available in the UK, and I purchased them from an eBay seller that offered free P&P, which from China I think is rather impressive. But how much did they cost? Well, for that we need our new Flyhawk approved post-it notes for some reason, a pen, oh, and yes, in case you're wondering, I did make a pen with my logo on it, deal with it, and the main competition that this kit has, which is the Hobby 2000 release of the Hasegawa one. So, according to Hanance, right now the SBD 4/5 Dauntless is available, but this version isn't, but they're basically the same kit, and that costs £20.99. The Flyhawk SBD-3 cost me £16.80, and the Upgrade Edition SBD-2 cost me £20.80, meaning this version is cheaper than the Hasegawa tooling. It also means that I effectively paid £4 for a load of post-it notes, and a poster, and some wheels. Okay, thank you very much for watching, everybody. This is obviously just an unboxing, so I can't really comment on whether this is better value than the Hasegawa one. If this one doesn't build very well, then it probably isn't for you. But based on what I've seen in the box, this looks like an incredibly well-engineered kit, and I am very excited to make it. Please do stay tuned to the channel for me to build this and show off the final result, probably in a few months' time. And also, I've written down a to-do list for everyone on these new Flyhawk post-it notes, so make sure you go and do that. Thank you again for watching. Let me know what you think. Have you ever made a Flyhawk model before? Do you know who Flyhawk are? Have you ever put your little animated face on a pen just for funsies? Comments below. I do like reading them. Like, subscribe, bell go ding, channel member. Goodbye. In case anyone's wondering, I am drinking tequila whilst filming this.